Okay.
All right. Hey, Victoria. Welcome to the session. My name is Chetan, and I'm so thankful for you giving your time today and taking out time for this interview session. Before we get started, Victoria, I just want to give you a short introduction about myself. So, I have been working for this company for a little over 5 years, and I started my journey out as a Scrum Master. And currently, I'm managing two teams, and I am working as a product owner right now. And in my experience with this company, I love what I do because there's always new challenges, there's always new things to do, and new people to work with, and it's just been great for me. And yeah, that's a little bit about me. Now, with that said, Victoria, I'm going to pass the baton to you. So that chart told me a little bit about you. They had a very good conversation with you, and they really liked your enthusiasm and all those good things. So talk to me a little bit about yourself, Victoria. Who are you? And tell me, about yourself.
Thank you very much for this amazing opportunity. I'm very happy to be here. My name is Victoria Awode. I'm an Agilist. I've been in the Agile project management for over 6 years, and basically I help companies such as companies in like management consulting, banking, telecommunications to just manage their projects more like effectively.
Mhm,
I work in like the Agile project software environment basically,
mhm, mhm,
and my goal is just to bring more efficiency to the team, like keep them focused, help ensure that they're having transparency in the way they're working. I'm helping them becoming more customer centric, like they are making good quality products in the shortest amount of time. And
mhm.
so that's all I've been doing for the past 6 years. And it's something I'm really, really passionate about. Agile is the way forward right now.
Great, that's awesome, fantastic. I love your enthusiasm. So currently, you're in your resume it mentions that you're working for Price Waterhouse Coopers. So what project are you working on for Price Waterhouse Coopers?
Sure. So for PricewaterhouseCoopers, I'm consulting for a retail company. We are
Mhm,
consulting for a retail company. So basically, we're helping them with our website development. It's a large retail firm. So they
mhm,
have a bunch of new products coming up right now that they need
mhm,
to, you know, bring to the market. So
mhm,
we're helping them with the website development for that. So that's currently what I'm working on, the project I'm working on right now.
mhm. Great. So you're working on building up their website and helping them with website development. That's what you're exactly doing.
Yes.
Okay. And what about your team structure? So you mentioned it's a big company. So what's the process you are following and what's your team structure like?
The team structure, it's a Scrum team, so it's definitely less than 10 people. In my team, I'm the Scrum Master, and then we also have a product owner, and we have the development team, and
Mhm,
we also have like the business analyst, which is also part of the Scrum team, and
mhm,
we're like seven in the team, and I'm the Scrum Master for like four different squads in this team
mhm,
in,
mhm.
in this company. Yes,
Okay. So you're only working with one team right now.
right now, yes.
Okay. And who do you report to right now?
Um, so right now I work with the product owner.
Okay.
Um, yes. So for
So
example,
are you
sometimes
reporting to product owner or who is your direct report to?
my direct report is the director of IT.
Mhm,
He's the one that got me hired into this role, and he's the one
mhm.
I report to. But
Okay.
basically, the way it's structured,
Mhm,
we have like sprint reviews where we
mhm,
demo like the product, and that's when they get updates.
mhm,
The only time I have to speak with the management is
mhm,
when I have some analysis, like the team report analysis to make, and
mhm,
some consulting services that have to give feedback on how we can improve the team. That's the only
mhm,
time I meet up with the management. But
mhm,
basically, I just follow the whole Scrum ceremonies, like the whole process.
mhm, mhm.
From
Great. So on your resume, it mentions that you have Safe Six experience and you're also PMP certified. So which company did you exactly work in a safe environment? So because we are a safe environment, we are following safe environment to the T, at least we're trying to, and we want someone who has experience in safe and who has experience implementing safe across multiple teams, who has at least worked in that environment and who can be a catalyst for the change. So in which of these companies have you worked in a safe environment?
It's definitely the same company I am right now, and that was even
Mm-hmm,
one of the certification to ensure that I'm carrying out safe, um, the right way, like helping
mm-hmm,
them with like the PI planning and all that. So
mm-hmm.
the current company I'm with is a company where it's a safe environment, and I'm executing safe framework of
Okay,
it.
great. So talk to me about the process. So what's the process like right now? Where does your team fit in the process? How are you guys implementing the safe process? Talk to me all about that.
Okay. Um, so okay.
It's okay. It's
My
okay.
apologies.
No worries, no worries. It's okay. It's all right.
So
You're doing good.
yeah, thank you. So my company is actually right now we're called
Mm-hmm,
Scrum, although it's
mm-hmm,
a safe environment. So
mm-hmm,
what the project I'm currently working on is called Scrum, where I carry out I'm helping them understand Scrum better and ensuring that coaching the team basically on how to be more like agile
mm-hmm,
in their ways of work. So
mm-hmm,
just it's more cost scrum in this team, to be honest. Yes.
mm-hmm. Okay. Because your resume says it's safe, and so that's why I was curious. But we'll talk about it after the interview. This answer could have been better, but that's fine. Okay. So now let's move on. So, okay. Now, what kind of projects have you worked on in your experience? You mentioned website development with your current PwC, which is a client with Canadian Tires. What other projects have you worked on in the past?
I've also worked on finance, like contracts, like app development, vendor management,
Mhm,
app development projects. So most
mhm,
of my projects are usually websites, helping the team, the company, and they are usually large companies and also
mhm,
like app development projects. And in this
mhm,
project, I could also be like starting the team from the get-go, or
mhm,
I'm just joining the team and they're like, they know a little bit about Agile, but they are not practicing it yet, or they haven't gotten the buy-in from the management.
mhm,
And so I just go in there and help them like help the management understand the value of Scrum, how Scrum helps us to, gather requirement quickly from the client, how Scrum is collaborative, how
mhm,
Scrum can help us to get feedback quickly instead
mhm,
of investing millions before
mhm,
we create a product that is not needed or used by the
mhm.
customers. So just help the management understand this. So those are like the various projects and the various phases of um, that have worked in these various companies.
Great, great. Have you ever worked in cloud migration?
I've actually not worked in
Mhm,
cloud migration. Yeah.
mhm,
Um, and I'm actually taking a course right now in cloud
mhm,
AWS because it's something
mhm,
I'm actually interested in. And I'm
mhm,
also a fast learner. I'm a passionate learner. And if
mhm.
it is required in this role, and I'm willing to take up, some training in that to get up to speed so that I can use my knowledge in Scrum to actually carry out such projects.
Great, fantastic. We are actually working on cloud migration. We are a retail company and we are migrating all our data from on-premises to cloud. And not only us, right now in the market, even if you work for the government or non-government clients, you will find that cloud migration is universal right now. Everybody's going through cloud migration. So it will definitely benefit you a lot if you go that route. But okay, so fantastic. I love that enthusiasm. Now talk to me about, so there are teams in our company that are working with a waterfallish model. And there are teams that are working in a more Scrum focused model, Scrum Ban and Scrum focused model. The teams that you will be leading in the beginning will be in a more waterfallish manner, right? Talk to me about your experience working in a waterfall environment and how did you work on getting those teams towards more Scrum focused, process oriented teams?
Yes, thank you very much. In my role at TD Bank, they were working. The way they were working was like using Waterfall basically, and the projects we're working on developing a software. They realized the value of Agile, right? But they didn't know how to execute this. So my role there was to actually help them with this transition from Waterfall to like Agile project management, specifically using Scrum. And my experience, what I did for them at TD was first of all to be empathetic because I noticed most teams are very resistant to change because they've been working in Waterfall for 7 years, some even 15 years. It's all they know. So they're like scared. And also they feel like, oh, they might lose their role because I'm coming as a Scrum Master. Do they want Scrum Masters now? Are they useless now? And first of all, I try to make them understand that the company hired me so that I can help them transition so they are not going to lose their job in any way.
Mhm,
Then, be empathetic towards them, try to understand, their ways of working first. So first of all, what I
mhm,
did was basically observe this team. I
mhm,
tried to see, how they're doing their work, what like we all know, Scrum is not complete for a
mhm,
reason. It
mhm,
it helps us. It's just like an umbrella for other ways of working. So
mhm,
like first of all, I need to understand how they're working, what we could adopt first, and then after like um observing them for like I'm not sure even if they are doing sprint. They were not, sorry, my apologies. They were not even doing sprint at that point. They were just doing their project out anyhow. And
mhm,
then I observed them for like 2 weeks.
mhm,
Then after observing them, I'm able to, do like a team analysis report based on my observations. Then after that, I'm going to suggest to the management, like, okay, this is what we're going to do. But before going to the management, I'm going to explain this to the team so it doesn't look like I'm being sneaky. They understand exactly what where they are and where they should be, so I
mhm,
communicate this with the team. We are one, and then I make sure they know. I build that trust with them, and make sure they know that I'm here for them. I'm here to
mhm,
help them. I'm here to make them work better. Basically, I make them see like the value of this whole thing, and of course I make sure that they trust me. Then after the team analysis report with the management, I'm able to you know, then start executing this thing. Of course, at first we have like a goal. I start introducing Scrum to them in bits, in little bits. For example, at first I'm like, okay, we're going to start doing daily Scrum,
mhm,
and I explained what this is to them. The, Funny enough, they were already doing the daily scrum. They didn't just call it the daily scrum. They were already meeting together every morning, but it
mhm,
was for 5 minutes and not 15 minutes. And
mhm,
then they were not even giving updates on what they were doing or if they had any blockers or impediments. They were not doing any of that. So
mhm,
basically, I just explained to them what the daily scrum is, how it's meant to be 15 minutes, the value of the daily scrum. I
mhm,
make sure I let them know the daily scrum is not to report to me. The daily scrum is to keep themselves accountable and give themselves updates and ask questions, just get quick feedback. Of course, they're still going to communicate during the day, but this is like the formal event for that.
mhm,
So just start introducing Scrum to them bit by bit and see how they're working. After a while, it typically takes a while for them to um, we have to be patient with the project because change is not usually fast.
mhm,
So after that, after introducing it to them in bits, then there's like a benchmark. I also try to discuss companies that have transitioned from waterfall to agile successfully with them so they know the value, they know how
mhm,
long it took, and then there's a benchmark as well where it gets to a point where there's a benchmark and I'm like, okay, in this particular sprint, you have to normally every team reaches like this story point and they don't spill over work. So basically, in each of we start benchmarking that. Once they're after like 2 sprints, I notice that they're able to meet their target. The first sprint they usually don't, but the second sprint they usually meet this target because they're really smart people. Then after that, I after benchmarking them, I start challenging them to do better, and then just going through all this process to actually see to understand to move sorry sorry, and I keep them motivated all through this process. Like keep inspiring them, keep ensuring they understand the value, and once they start seeing this result, they're able to actually wholeheartedly um adopt Scrum. So this is
Great.
basically how I go about my transition and specifically my project at TD.
Great, great, very interesting. So you benchmark their current process, current progress, and then you give them a challenge to move on to the next goal, and you kind of mentor them and coach them that way. Great. So it means that you are a fantastic Scrum Master where you are at. So you are basically being a mentor, being a coach, plus helping them improve the process, plus working with the people. Now, um, let's say you start working for a new team. How do you assess the maturity of this team and where they are at and how where they need to be? How do you assess all that with the new team?
Yes. Okay, so one thing when I'm working for a new team, one basic thing I make sure I do is I do not compare them. This is a new team. I don't compare teams. In Scrum, we do not do that. So this new team, how I access them in terms of maturity, that was the question, right?
Mhm,
Um, First of all, it's how they're working. If they are collaborative enough, if they are, carrying out all these Scrum events in the right way, and they are time boxed, they are not exceeding these boxes. If you know they are properly estimating their stories, user stories. If they are not, of course, spilling over work. One major thing for me is the net promoter score. If the
mhm,
customer is happy, that's the most important thing for me. The quality
mhm,
of the product and the speed to which they are producing this product. That's how
mhm,
how I determine if this team is mature, less conflict. They're able
mhm,
to work collaboratively. They understand how to carry out, even if I'm not there. For example, how I test it if a team is
mhm,
mature is I don't attend the daily scrum and I try to see if they are now um, if they will carry out the scrum themselves. They are now self-organizing. Then I will know, okay, this team is beginning to understand, or they already understand what to do. So
mhm,
the most fun thing is just to um, help the team to a level where they are self-organizing and they are able to, they are cross-functional. The team has everybody, and they're able
mhm,
to carry out the work effectively.
mhm. Very good, fantastic. Now let's talk about cross-functionality. So how do you make a team cross-functional and what are the benefits of having a cross-functional team? What do you think? How does that give an advantage to your team if they are cross-functional?
Oh, like that is something I'm really, really passionate about. And I
Mhm,
tend to do like hackathons at the end of my sprint to where like there's also something called pair programming that I
mhm,
do where I'm able to the a team member that is not that does not have a particular expertise like can start doing the work of okay, I'm going to tell you a very interesting story.
mhm,
That I also lead by example. I'm a servant leader. I once
mhm,
had a time when my product owner fell ill and couldn't
mhm,
attend work for a really, really long time. And I
mhm,
took the role of the Scrum Master by, oh, my apology, of the product owner.
mhm,
The product owner was ill and couldn't attend for a while. And I took the role of the product owner by helping them write the stories for up to three sprints
mhm,
ready. So they were really like, oh, how come I'm able to do that? Like I'm like, oh, I work with the product owner, I support the
mhm,
product owner, I even coach the product owner to write effective user stories. So I know how to do that. So they were it made them know that you can actually do another we have to be flexible. It's this team should be complete. So if someone is not available, the work should not stop. So that way they were really encouraged, and they were really passionate about learning from each other and skills from each other. So we often have hackathons at the end of almost like 2 days before the sprint ends, where they're able to teach each other skills. No, do projects that are like cross-functional, like not part of their job, but then they're able to actually do the job and ask questions from the team and do it together as one team. We also have pair programming. So these are various ways that help my team be cross-functional.
And what are the advantages of having a cross-functional team?
Or like the advantages are like, for example, the example I gave earlier, when the team was not around, when a team member is not around, the flexibility. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
we're able to, the work does not stop.
yeah,
Uh, we're able to and also cross-skilling learning, continuous learning.
yeah.
Teams are motivated by different things. Some teams are motivated by goals, like having a clear goal, some like a target. Some teams are motivated by learning. So like it also keeps the team motivated. It keeps us going. We're able to function regardless, like bodying up. If someone is not, even during the sprint, I encourage collaboration a lot. Even if during the daily scrum, if a team member is not going to be available, they try to be available for more times. But in case of emergencies, if they won't be available, I teach them about bodying up, collaborating, and the team member is going to give another team member the information so they can give the update on their behalf. So, it just helps us to continue working. And, Agile is about fast delivery, quality delivery. So I think like that's one of the benefits.
Great, fantastic. Now you mentioned motivation. So let's talk about motivation. How do you motivate your team members? What are the steps you take? What are the things you do to motivate your team members to feel them involved? And how do you get them to do that?
Yes, keeping the team motivated. Like I mentioned before, I noticed that there are two things that keep the team motivated. Some are motivated by clarity, like having a clear target to meet, and others are motivated by growth, learning, continuous learning. So for those that are motivated by growth, learning, when I join any organization, one thing I try to do is get a one-on-one to better understand their what makes them tick basically. And those that are motivated by growth or learning, and of course I'm going to coach everybody on the team. Those that are motivated by growth or learning, I try to include some fun agile games in our activity, where they can actually continuously learn. I try to make the work, of course, this team is self-organizing and they should pick work themselves. But my role there is to make them be their best. So I try to challenge them. I'm not going to force them. I just suggest these things. I try to challenge them. I try to bring up educational things that will just make them continuously learn. Also, the hackathons, they're able to learn skills that they didn't know before. So that's how I motivate teams. Also, if someone is motivated by a clear target, I ensure that the backlog, I work with the product owner. We're like best friends. I ensure that the product owner the product backlog is properly refined, is prioritized, and the most important things are on top. So when I'm communicating with my team, I ensure that they understand the goals for the sprint we'll be working. There's a clearly defined goal. So they understand like what needs to be done, and they put in their best efforts, and against all odds, they ensure it is done. So they get that clarity, they get that target. So those are various ways that I motivate my team. Of course, I have to be I have to show empathy at some point. I'm going to tell you about a project that I worked on. I worked with a team that did meet their sprint goal. Their velocity on the previous sprint of
Mm-hmm.
the project I'm referring to was really low. I think
Mm-hmm.
we picked up like 25 story points and they did just 17, if I remember clearly. So they didn't make
Mm-hmm.
the target. And this team was really demoralized because they really wanted to impress. They wanted to show out, and I knew they could do it. I knew, but they were really demoralized. But so instead of coming to them and being like, oh, you should have been judgmental and everything, during the sprint retro, I ensured that I um the phrase I used was this is a non-judgmental zone. So
Mm-hmm.
that put them at peace and they were able to actually discuss what they did right and what they did wrong, what could have been done better in the sprint. We collaboratively made this decision, so
Mm-hmm.
they are able to go into the next sprint with the top 3 action items and they're able to execute it. So building the team morale is so vital to keep them motivated, supporting the team, being empathetic. So those are 3 ways, like being empathetic, knowing if they're motivated by goals, and knowing if they're motivated by learning. So these are various ways I motivate my team.
Beautiful. Perfect. Awesome. So now let's talk about a healthy backlog. What do you understand by a healthy backlog? What are the signs of a healthy backlog? How do you make sure that your team has a healthy backlog at all times?
Yes. So so the backlog, I work with the product owner for this.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, the user stories, they have to be properly written with the invest criteria, acceptance criteria, definition of done, all the necessary things that needs to be in each and every user story. This user story is clearly well written. This user story, I support the product owner to ensure that these user stories are um properly written and also they are prioritized
Mm-hmm.
correctly. So one thing I ensure that I'm asking this product owner is this prioritized? Is
Mm-hmm.
this exactly what the business needs right now?
Mm-hmm.
So and also with the team, of course, when the team is about to begin the sprint planning or whatever, we're going to estimate the story points. Sorry, the user stories, and
Mm-hmm.
then we ensure that we're estimating properly. So for an healthy backlog, it the product owner owns this, and for it to be healthy, it has to be well written and also it has to be prioritized. And I
Mm-hmm.
support the product owner to do this.
Mm-hmm. Great, great, fantastic. So, okay, now we have talked about that. Now let's move on to people. So people are a very important part of our team. How do you handle conflicts within your team?
Thank you. Um, First of all, conflict is not like we really can't avoid it if we want to produce the best one.
Mm-hmm.
Conflict is actually good because then I get to the not me, but not
Mm-hmm.
just me, but everyone gets to understand something from someone else's point of view.
Mm-hmm.
So I I, I try to explain the benefits of this conflict to the team.
Mm-hmm.
Then first of all, I realized that meeting with the team member. So this conflict could be like between a team member, basically. For example, if there's
Mm-hmm.
a conflict, I try to meet with each one to understand their point of view. But then I still want them to work as a team. So I
Mm-hmm.
just facilitate discussions. Um, set up these discussions to understand with all after meeting with them one on one to understand them, then I meet with all of them to
Mm-hmm.
facilitate these discussions. I will not tell them what I've learned from each individual. I
Mm-hmm.
just ask some questions that make them talk,
Mm-hmm.
and I try to let them know um, this is not personal.
Mm-hmm.
What is the goal of
Mm-hmm.
this? what are we trying to build? And then after that, after explaining to them, facilitating discussions, um, I'm writing all these things down. Then we're able to, at the end of the day, most times, I'm able to bring them back to the main goal, our main focus. One of the values of Scrum is um, keeping them focused,
Mm-hmm.
and also openness and transparency.
Mm-hmm.
So once I'm able to facilitate these discussions, that I ensure when I start with any team, I try to build trust. So they're very
Mm-hmm.
comfortable with me, and they're very comfortable having these discussions. So these discussions were able to circle back to the main focus, which is building exceptional, good quality product
Mm-hmm.
for the business, exactly what the business needs.
Mm-hmm.
So once they start going back and forth and they start reasoning with each other, I just facilitate these discussions. Once they're able to like make come to like an agreement together, even they don't even they won't know when they've reached an agreement. That's the funny thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of the way I facilitate these discussions. So that's typically how I go about like resolving conflict in the team.
Mm-hmm.
So, so there are different kinds of conflict, and that's just one way that is resolve a conflict.
Very good, very good. Now, I want to jump into stakeholder expectation management and stakeholder management overall. But before I get into that, what will be your first 30-day plan when you join a new team? Let's say you join this team, right? What will be your first 30-day plan when you join this team?
Thank you. First of all, when I join a new team as a Scrum Master, I my first step is observation. I meet with the team members one on one to understand like their goals, their personal goals, their expectations. I meet with the product owner to understand exactly what we're trying to build. At first, I'm not helping yet.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so this is typically like 2 weeks that I take time to understand the workings of the company itself, the team, getting to know them, getting to know the project, getting to know the business better from an internal, perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So with after that, after I get during this time, I'm creating like I'm taking notes. I'm also like making plans. But like I said, I don't just expect people to understand something immediately. I have to create value, and I have
Mm-hmm.
to create value quick. And value starts from building, this trust with this team,
Mm-hmm.
getting to know them, getting to know the business. Then I start like that's my first 2 weeks plan. Then for the next 2 weeks, which is the remaining 30 days, I start, the what's it called? The speaking to management about what I observe. Of course, I talk to my team first. Um, what we can do better, what they're doing right, because they are there for a reason. I know that I have to respect what they know,
Mm-hmm.
what they can do. Then I start introducing this Scrum event in
Mm-hmm.
bits. Like
Mm-hmm.
we start with the daily Scrum. One thing I try to get within my 30 days is a working agreement with the team.
Mm-hmm.
Collaboratively, we decide our ways of working
Mm-hmm.
for every event. For example, lateness. I worked with a team before. If
Mm-hmm.
we had a lateness job, if you're late to the daily Scrum, you drop $5. We I'm not going to tell them about any of this.
Mm-hmm.
I just my team themselves they build the working agreement together.
Mhm.
And then I ensure that's within the first 30 days. And
Mhm.
then start introducing this coaching, this mentorship in bits. So that's typically what I do within my first 30 days. And one thing I make sure that I do not leave my first 30 days without is my team working agreement and observing to realize where I can help and how I can help the team work better.
Awesome. All right. Now let's talk about a team that is not able to meet their sprint goal. Let's say you are put on a team that has not met their sprint goal from the last 3 months. What will you do? What will be the steps you take, and how will you go about it? Explain with a real life scenario if possible.
Yes. This is actually something that I really love working on.
Mhm.
A team that is not high performing, a team not meeting their goals. Um, First of all, I need to understand where the problem is coming from. Is this an individual problem? Is this a team problem? Is this a management problem? Then, if it's an individual problem, it could be skills, it could be motivation, maybe they don't skills and experience, maybe they don't have enough experience. Then I know, okay, they need to start getting some trainings done to better understand. Like you mentioned cloud, if they don't have an experience in cloud, I don't too. We start learning, we get subject matter experts, we start taking trainings to learn these things. um if it's not motivation, we already discussed motivation. I figure out ways to motivate them. That's the individual problem. If it's the team problem, I look at like the structure of the team, like the team dynamics. I try to see how they're working. For example, if someone is taking all the work, or if someone is not talking during meetings, if so, I just look at all these things like the structure, the team dynamics, and also, I look at their processes, the
Mhm.
team processes, just observe and try to understand where this is. If it's management, uh, this is usually the one that I have to really. It's it's a different ball game entirely, because as a scrum master, I'm working on processes and people, but this time around it's like management. So if it's like the management, not getting, for example, I'm not getting the buy-in from the management, um, then I try to make them understand the value of this product they're about to build and the value of Scrum in building this product. How Scrum can help us get requirements, how Scrum can help us get feedback quickly before they invest millions on a product that they do not need, or a product that will not fulfill the purpose for which it was built. Like just try to get their buy-in. That's managed. So I figure out which type of problems this are. So for example, if it's like, then after that, after I figure why these problems are happening, then I'm going to observe my team and do like a team analysis report. In this team analysis report, I'm going to see what I've the root cause of this problem, what I've observed, and also provide solutions from a Scrum Master's perspective. Um, Solutions on what could be, for example, if they are sprint by sprint, they're carrying over work. I'm going to check the root cause analysis. Could be ineffective stories. It could be the story is too big. It could be the story is not even clear enough. The story is not even well. The story is not even estimated properly. It could be anything. Then I look for solutions on how to do this. Then after I get these solutions, of course I'm going to communicate to my team, communicate this with the um, management. Then I try to set a benchmark for this team. This
Mhm.
benchmark is going to be like industry standard. I typically get that from my previous experience, what I've seen, the expectations, like subject matter experts, like other Scrum Masters. Of course, I'm not going to discuss our project today, just see where they're at, benchmark them and motivate them to ensure they are meeting this thing. Once they are mature to that level of reaching that benchmark that was formulated for them, I try to challenge them to do better. Then I'm able to, we're now gaining some like cadence, some, in the team. And after that, I'll continue observing the team, and then I would after observing the team, I'm going to um, define like the various problems I'm seeing. I'm going to, before just I'm going to share this with the team, share it with them, help them find solutions to this problem. Then they can act after that. So after that, after doing all those three things, I'm going to ensure that they are motivated. Find what motivates my team. Like I mentioned before, it could be a clear sprint goal. They know exactly what needs to be done. It could be continuous learning. Then I start doing some fun gaming, agile games for them. So they love attending these events. So that's how I go about helping a team that is not performing properly. So I'm going to summarize that real quick. I know it was a lot. At first, I will understand the problem. Is there an individual level? Is there a team level? Is there a management level? Then I create like observe based on my observation. I'm going to create a team analysis report that the team is well aware of, send to the manager, get their approval. Then I'm going to start, set a benchmark for the team. Once they reach that, challenge them, then continue observing, defining if there's any new problem, you know, acting on this, sharing this first, acting on it, then also keeping the team motivated.
Great. Talk to me about the ceremonies. What are the ceremonies that you're having right now on a weekly basis? What are those ceremonies? Explain to me all of them.
Yes. The Scrum ceremonies that I'm engaging in are the daily Scrum,
Mm-hmm.
the sprint planning,
Mm-hmm.
the there's also the backlog refinement, although in that's not considered a ceremony, but it is an event on its own that is time boxed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's I also have after the sprint planning, the daily scrum, there's the sprint review, there's the
Mm-hmm.
retro,
Mm-hmm.
like the various events so like the daily scrum, we do that daily at a specific time. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's not more than 15 minutes. If there's any issue, we'll move that to the parking lot. The daily scrum is just really quick updates for the team. I ensure they understand this is for the developers. It's not a report for me,
Mm-hmm.
for themselves to keep
What
them.
about your teams reporting within each other? That's understandable for daily Scrum, right? How do you collaborate with multiple teams? What ceremonies do you use to collaborate with multiple teams within your organization or within your contracting company? What is that ceremony that you guys are doing? Do you guys do anything like that, or is it there is no collaboration multi teams wise?
Um, to collaborate with multiple teams, we have the um probably on the project I'm working on right now, I basically just collaborate with my team, but based on experience, there's like the peer planning, like when we want to do Scrum or Scrum. There's like the peer planning to discuss with other team. There's also like the in the Agile Center of Excellence, I collaborate with other Scrum Masters, and they're able to um, instead of each team working in silos, we're able to come together. We'll meet together sometime, and we just. But most of the teams have worked on they are really focused on the Scrum team, basically. The Scrum team themselves.
Yeah, we'll discuss that towards the end. Okay, now talk to me about stakeholder management. How do you handle difficult stakeholders? How have you handled difficult stakeholders in the past? Explain the scenario.
Thank you. So handling difficult stakeholders, I'm going to use stakeholder. I'm just going to use one example of a project I worked on before. Um, I would use maybe a developer that is not happy, is resistant. It's very difficult. He doesn't want to like
No, stakeholders, not team members, stakeholders.
sure. So handling a stakeholder, let me see, like, is it like management or we have different stakeholders? Is there a specific stakeholder you want me to speak to?
Who is the stakeholder right now with your company? Who is your
Um,
stakeholder?
I'll probably say
No,
the
who is your stakeholder? Don't say probably. Who is your stakeholder right now?
oh, right now, that is my director
Which company?
at PwC.
Okay. We'll discuss that. Okay, so that's all I have so far in terms of covering the theory and understanding your experience and things like that. One last question I have is, what is it that you don't like about Agile or Scrum? What is the one thing that you dislike? Or is it everything that you like? Talk to me.
Sure. As you already know, I'm really passionate about Scrum, and there are some things that I see about Scrum that does not make me like I do not like. It is the way Scrum is a lightweight framework that is very easy to understand, but is very hard to execute.
Mhm,
And this makes a lot of organizations not practice Scrum effectively or completely. And
mhm,
that's one thing that is, there's a lot of arguments right now in the world, even on LinkedIn, people coming up with different things. Like I
mhm,
see a lot of people posting things that is not Scrum.
mhm,
One Another thing is like with Scrum, not being able to, sometimes the management say they want to go agile and it's just by mouth. They actually are not willing to do what it takes to actually execute Scrum.
mhm,
And it's just something that it's, they call it a lightweight framework, but is it actually not? Is it actually
mhm,
that complex? So like that's something that I really do not like seeing about Scrum.
mhm, mhm. Great. What are the questions you have for me?
Thank you very much. The question I have for you is, you know, your expectations from me in the next 30, 60, 90 days. I know you asked the question. I already have my game plan for the next 30, 60, 90 days, but I would love to hear from you so we are in sync.
Mhm,
And the that's my first question. And the last question, the second question I have is just to know more about you, like
mhm,
your journey, how you got here, and just getting to know you better and
mhm.
how you got into this exceptional role and
Yeah,
learn
yeah.
from you.
Awesome, awesome. So expectations are very clear. You will basically act as a catalyst for teams that are still in waterfall and kind of push them towards Scrum, which you explained very fantastically. The other thing is that if you are able to successfully do that, kind of implementing the process within the teams, and then serving as a mentor and a coach with teams along the process, because a lot of teams there might be challenges in implementing the process. There might be a lot of resistance. There might be a lot of old habits that kind of are hard to break, just like you explained perfectly in your answer as well. So the expectations are pretty clear, just to move the teams along in the process and just be a catalyst for change. Other than that, the big expectation is kind of working alongside the stakeholders. The stakeholders are a very important part of our business. They are bread and butter. They kind of help us kind of bring business continuously and kind of keep our teams running, right? So stakeholder management is very important piece, which I didn't get that idea that you have a lot of experience with that. I'm going to be completely honest. Um, Other expectation is just being a good team player, just being a good team player, a good mentor, a good coach, and just working alongside and understanding the company's vision and helping build a better product. Those are all the expectations I have. Now, the other questions that you had was how to land this exceptional role and things like that. So me personally, I've been in this industry for a little over 10 years, and I am a big proponent for agile, and I'm a big proponent for being flexible and kind of building products in a more interactive way, more iterative way. And I think this is the future. I really do think this is the future, and that's what I have been following for the last 10 years, and kind of helping teams and helping companies enterprise wide to kind of move along in that direction and being a catalyst for that change. And that has been wonderful for me. And currently, with this organization, I have been doing the same thing, basically just helping the enterprise move in a more iterative manner, building products in a more iterative manner where the business and the technology can come together and kind of collaborate and build things in that fashion. So that's all that I have done, and that's all that I'm doing right now. Any other questions you have for me?
No other questions right now. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Really nice getting to know you more.
Yeah, yeah. So great interview session. There were some pitfalls that we will discuss now. I'll give you feedback on those. But fantastic, you did great. This is going to be on YouTube. You're okay with that, right?
Yes.
Okay. So let's discuss what mistakes you made. But I'm proud of you. You did fantastic. Okay, but let's discuss
Let's
the
pick up
mistakes.
this now. This junction.
Yeah, yeah. We'll take it off. Take it off. I'm going to stop it.